the Caribbean that came through in her speech, even though she had already explained she was born in London. "You're looking good today, Ralph. You know, you seem so young. Are you really coming up to 70? Papers, lists, dates, certificates, doctor's reports. Nowhere to hide once you're in a system." "Not quite. Still over a year before I throw that party." There were already celebratory concerts planned for his 70th, including a grand event at the Barbican. None of the organisers had heard about his failing health. He knew he looked good, though for how much longer was a question as hard to ignore as the anticipatory nausea now seeping through his stomach. All the same, he still boasted a full head of hair, even if it was not the rich brown of his youth. And his trouser size had not increased since he was a student. No running to fat for him. The crumpled linen jacket gave the impression of an Englishman abroad, while the faded jeans and sneakers hinted at an attachment not only to youth, but to the garb of his own youth. Prodded, jabbed, tubed. "Okay, Ralph, just relax now. I'll come and check on you in 30 minutes. Here we go." John Dowland through the earphones today, eyes closed to the melancholy soprano, accompanied by a lute. "Flow, my tears. Then, come away, come, sweet love." He was already somewhere else. Back. Not to his childhood home in Worcestershire, nor his student travels to India, but to a garden by the river. Putney. He pulled the cashmere shawl over him, drawing the moth-eaten, mouse-coloured softness across his nose and mouth. It had been his mother's, and despite its long life and many travels with him, it nonetheless seemed to carry something of her smell. Hidden from view, he held on to his cock through his trousers. Limp as a dead fish, he thought. This is what it has come to. A piece of soft flesh, baby-wrinkled and pitiful, unable to do anything but pass a pathetic flow of piss. It was hard not to contemplate death, but he countered it by listing his successes to himself. "At least I've lived my life," he thought. "My music is appreciated. There have been television appearances, magazine interviews, university lectures, and trips where I was feted, applauded. Some silly fucker who didn't understand the music had written a biography, and there were even 3 PhD theses. And, he thought, I've loved." He was 27 when he met her. It seemed so young now, a boy practically. Only a few years since he'd left the choking conventions and daunting expectations of his parents' home near Worcester. He had returned from travels in Greece, Turkey, and Bulgaria, where he had been recording musicians and storytellers in remote mountain villages. The people he had stayed with were often suspicious or laughed at his foreignness, but they plied him with absurdly generous hospitality. He sat for days on filthy buses, lugging a rucksack into which he could hardly fit a change of clothes, after he had crammed in the cumbersome tape recorder and reels of tape. Sleeping in barns and on floors, he ate endless bean soup and hard goaty cheese with dry bread, filled notebooks, and sent back the recordings by registered post when he found a place with a post office. Ending up in Piraeus, he caught crabs from a woman he picked up in a nightclub, and was issued with some foul ointments by a local doctor. His intention had been to seek out dives where musicians came together to play rembatika music, and though he couldn't understand the words, he found people to translate and appreciated the dual inheritance of pain and humour in these gut-wrenching Greek blues. London seemed absurdly quaint on his return. Cool, damp, muted. He felt burnt and dusty, and as out of place as he had in the Balkans. Although he had met Edmund Greenslay several times, he had never been to his house before, and didn't know his wife or children. Edmund was older, in his late 30s, but his charismatic energy was boyish. The two men were planning to collaborate.